Welcome to the deep dive. Ever been to a city that feels like it's living in multiple centuries at once? That's Tokyo for you. Ancient serenity one minute, flashing neon the next.
Exactly.
A place where you can have the most exquisitely traditional meal and then stumble upon something wonderfully, delightfully unexpected around the corner.
It really is like that.
It's considered one of the most interesting places on the planet, and today we're going to try and figure out why.
Yeah, we've sifted through a fascinating collection of information to really understand the heart of Tokyo, what makes it so unique and, well, captivating. Our goal is to extract those key insights for you.
And we've got a fantastic range of material travel guides, cultural analyses, all sorts of fascinating bits and pieces.
Definitely.
We're going to unpack it all, focusing on what truly makes Tokyo special, those experiences you absolutely can't miss, the incredible food scene.
Oh, the food.
Where you might want to lay your head, how to navigate this sprawling metropolis, what kind of budget you're looking at, the best time to visit, and some of the essential cultural nuances, plus safety.
Right. So where do we start?
So let's dive right in. What's the secret sauce? What makes Tokyo stand out in a world full of amazing cities?
Well, what immediately jumps out from the sources is this incredible sense of controlled energy.
Controlled energy.
You have this massive, fast-paced urban environment, a real powerhouse in technology and global trends, yet it operates with this underlying precision that's almost hard to believe.
Like Shibuya Crossing.
Exactly. Take Shibuya Crossing, seemingly chaotic with all those people, right? But it functions with remarkable order. It really makes you think about the societal structures that allow for that kind of efficiency in such a, well, dynamic space.
That's it, isn't it? That dance between the vibrant buzz and the underlying order.
Yeah.
And our sources really emphasize that this isn't just a daytime thing. Tokyo comes alive at night with a fantastic nightlife.
Oh, definitely.
Everything from those classic salaryman bars, which are these really relaxed traditional spots where office workers unwind.
After work, yeah.
To super stylish cocktail bars, the must-do karaoke experience, and even hidden jazz clubs.
It sounds like the city has a whole other personality after dark, a really diverse one.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to a broader idea, it's this constant interplay between history and modernity that truly defines Tokyo.
That's a key theme for sure.
You might be wandering past a centuries-old temple, a pocket of absolute tranquility, and then literally turn a corner and be faced with these gleaming, futuristic skyscrapers.
It's a visual narrative, isn't it? How the old and the new not only coexist, but often kind of enhance each other.
Our sources also paint a picture of Tokyo as a collection of distinct neighborhoods, each with its own unique flavor.
Right, though we don't have all the super specific details on every single one here.
No, but it suggests that exploring these different areas is key to really experiencing the full spectrum of what Tokyo has to offer.
Definitely.
And then, of course, there's the food consistently described as a culinary paradise.
We'll definitely get more into that.
Oh, for sure. We'll be exploring those unmissable dishes later on. Oh, and everyone raves about the public transportation, efficient and always on time.
Such a huge plus in a city that size.
Right. So, having established what makes Tokyo so unique, let's talk about actually experiencing it. What are some of the absolute must-see landmarks and activities?
Okay, well, several iconic landmarks consistently appear as essential visits. Leading the pack is Sensō-ji Temple in Asakusa.
Ah, yes, the big red one.
That's the one. What's so striking is that the original temple traces its roots all the way back to the 7th century.
Wow, 7th century.
Although the current structure is a restoration, obviously. It stands as this beautiful, vibrantly red anchor in the modern cityscape. It features a stunning 5-story pagoda and the iconic Kaminaramon, or Thunder Gate.
The Thunder Gate.
Which has its own impressive history stretching back over 1,000 years.
Incredible.
The temple grounds themselves are open to everyone for free, 247 basically. Though the main temple buildings have specific opening hours, like 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. mostly.
Good to know.
And the consistent advice is, get there early, especially if it's a weekend, maybe by 8 a.m., to really soak in the atmosphere before the crowds arrive.
Makes sense. That sounds like a fantastic way to connect with the city's deep history.
Definitely.
Then there's the Tokyo Tower, which, let's be honest, gives off some serious Eiffel Tower vibes.
It really does resemble it, yeah. Built in the late 1950s, it held the title of Tokyo's tallest structure for quite a while.
Until the Skytree came along.
Right, until Skytree in 2010. But you can still head up Tokyo Tower to the observation decks for these incredible panoramic views of the city.
Can you see Mount Fuji from there?
Apparently, on a really clear day, You might even spot Mount Fuji in the distance. There are different ticket prices for the main and top observation levels, something like 1,200 yen for the main deck, more for the top. And staying with iconic spots that carry a lot of history, the sources highlight both the Tsukiji and Toyosu fish markets.
Right, the fish markets. There was a change there recently, wasn't there?
Yes, exactly. It's important to understand the shift. The main wholesale operations moved from the original Tsukiji market to the larger, more modern Toyosu market back in October 2018.
Okay.
So at Toyosu, you can observe the fascinating wholesale fish auctions, but it's from a viewing platform. Direct access is now mainly through organized tours.
Ah, I see.
However, the outer market at Tsukiji is still incredibly vibrant. It's packed with retail stalls, restaurants, and it still has that fantastic, bustling atmosphere.
So you can still get a taste of the old market.
Absolutely. It's where you can still get a real sense of the old market energy and, crucially, some unbelievably fresh and delicious food.
Food tours, maybe.
Yeah, food tours are a popular way to experience it, around 13,500 yen, apparently. And the general recommendation is to arrive early, as it gets very busy by mid-morning, say 9 a.m. And just remember, both markets have closing days, usually Sundays, holidays, sometimes Wednesdays. Definitely worth checking the schedules beforehand.
Got it. So a two-part experience for anyone interested in the seafood scene. Okay, what other unmissable experiences are highlighted in our sources?
Well, the Imperial Palace is another key landmark. It's built on the former site of Edo Castle, and it became the emperor's main residence when the capital moved to Tokyo in 1869.
Can you go inside?
The inner palace grounds aren't generally open to the public, no, but the surrounding gardens, like the East Garden, offer a really peaceful escape. And you can actually book limited free tours of certain areas online in advance.
Okay. Booking ahead seems like a theme.
It often is in Tokyo for popular things. Then we have Ueno Park, which feels like a destination in itself.
Right, Ueno Park. Lots there.
Tons. It boasts over 1,000 cherry blossom trees, making it a prime viewing spot in spring.
Prime Sakura spot.
Definitely. But throughout the year, it's home to an impressive collection of museums. You've got the Tokyo National Museum, Japan's oldest and largest incredible Asian art collection.
Wow.
There are important Shinto shrines like Ueno Toshogu, the National Museum of Nature and Science, various art museums, Metropolitan Art Museum, Western Art.
So many museums.
And even the Ueno Zoo, the oldest in Japan, is within the park. Plus places to just relax or have a picnic. You could easily dedicate an entire day just to exploring Ueno Park.
It truly sounds like a cultural hub. And for a more modern, almost legendary spot, there's the Hachiko statue just outside Shibuya Station.
Ah, Hachiko. Such a touching story.
It really is. It's a bronze tribute to that incredibly loyal Akita dog who famously waited for his owner at the station every single day.
Even for years after his owner had passed away.
Exactly. It's a really moving story that resonates deeply in Japanese culture, highlighting those values of loyalty and devotion.
A national hero, really.
And of course, it's located right at the iconic Shibuya crossing.
The world's busiest intersection, reportedly.
So you can definitely witness that organized chaos while you're paying respects to Hachiko.
Moving beyond these key landmarks, our sources detail a really diverse range of other activities. Catching a sumo match at the Ryogo Kokugi-kan.
Oh, sumo. That would be amazing.
It's consistently highlighted as a unique and very Japanese cultural experience, especially if you can attend one of the official tournaments that are held in January, May, and September.
Need to book tickets early for those, I bet.
Definitely. Tickets tend to sell out quickly, so booking online well in advance is crucial. Arena seats start around 3,200 yen.
Okay. And if it's not tournament season?
Even outside of tournament times, you might be able to arrange a tour of a local sumo stable to see the wrestlers in training, which sounds fascinating.
Cool. What else?
Walking tours are also highly recommended, a fantastic way to get your bearings and explore specific neighborhoods.
Like those free ones.
Yeah, Tokyo Localized apparently offers free overview tours and ones for Harajuku and Shinjuku. Then there are paid tours from about 1,800 yen, focusing on areas like the traditional Yanaka district or historic Asakusa.
Good way to orient yourself.
Exactly. And for those looking to escape the city for a bit, a day trip to Mount Fuji via the Hakone region is mentioned.
Ah, Hakone. Beautiful views, right?
Left-taking views of Japan's most famous peak, apparently, with opportunities for hiking, boat trips on Lake Ashi, and relaxing in onsen hot springs. It's about an hour from Tokyo. Some people even stay overnight in an onsen hotel there.
That Mount Fuji day trip sounds like a perfect counterpoint to the city energy.
Back in Tokyo, Akihabara Electric Town is a must-see for anyone even remotely interested in electronics, anime, manga, and gaming culture.
Right, the Electric Town.
It's described as this incredible sensory overload of gadgets, specialized merchandise, card games, collectibles, video game shops.
And the maid cafes.
And those famous maid cafes, yes. While definitely geared towards tourists sometimes, apparently they offer a uniquely quirky and fun experience. Maybe not cheap, though. Check for drink packages or fees.
Good to know. What about something more upscale?
Then you have Roppongi Hills. It presents a more upscale and sophisticated side of Tokyo. World-class art museums like the National Art Center or the Mori Art Museum in the Mori Tower.
Views too, right?
Yeah, the Mori Tower also has the Tokyo City View observation deck on the 52nd floor and even a rooftop sky deck for extra cost. Plus, high-end restaurants, omake sushi places, clothing stores, cafes. It's described as a bit more low-key than some other bustling areas.
Interesting contrast.
Then for something a bit more atmospheric and maybe gritty, Golden Guy.
Ah, the tiny bar.
Exactly. Those zigzag alleys filled with tiny hole-in-the-wall bars. It's touristy, sure, but sounds like a fun adventure with cheap drinks and unique spots.
Probably gets crowded.
Yeah, sources say it gets crowded on weekend evenings, so perhaps an earlier visit is advised. There are food tours that go there, too, combining it with places like Omoi Yokocho.
Okay. And getting around on water.
Right, the Suijo bus, or water bus. It's a traditional mode of transport along Tokyo's waterways. There are regular ferry services between different points.
It's like public transport on the river.
Kind of, yeah. Fares vary, maybe 860 to 1,700 yen. But there are also more leisurely options, like lunch and dinner cruises on traditional Yakata boats, these sort of floating restaurants. Those are pricier, starting around 13,000 yen with a meal.
Wow. Quite a range of experiences on the water.
And let's not forget the opportunity to take a day trip to see the great Buddha of Kamakura.
Oh, the Baibutsu.
That's the one. This incredible 13-meter-tall bronze statue that dates back to the 13th century. It's a relatively easy journey from Tokyo, maybe an hour, and free with the Japan Rail Pass.
And it's outdoors now.
Yeah, it was originally inside a temple hall, but that got washed away centuries ago, so now it sits outdoors. You can usually even go inside the statue itself for a tiny fee, like 20 yen. The temple grounds cost about 300 yen.
Fascinating. What about more local experiences?
For a more local and relaxing experience, trying out a sento, a traditional public bathhouse, is mentioned.
Bathhouses, right?
It's a way to unwind and experience a part of Japanese daily life. Originally for people without baths at home, now more for relaxation. Budget-friendly too, around 500, 700 yen.
Need to be okay with public nudity, though.
Yes, it's gender-separated, but comfort with nudity in a communal setting is necessary. Also, some places might have restrictions on tattoos, so that's something to be aware of.
Good point. Okay, switching gears, Disneyland.
Yep, Tokyo Disneyland is there, offering both classic Disney attractions and some unique Japanese twists, like Pooh's Honey Hunt, apparently. Ticket prices vary, starting around 7,900 yen for adults, less for kids. Booking online in advance is key.
And that ninja restaurant.
Ninja Tokyo. It provides a theatrical dining experience. It's set up like an Edo-era ninja village, staff in ninja outfits doing magic tricks. Meals ordered from scrolls.
Sounds fun. Pricey.
It can be. Courses range from maybe 6,000 yen for vegetarian up to 18,000 yen for one with Wagyu beef. Definitely need to book that one too.
Okay. Any other unique museums or activities?
There's the Tokyo Metropolitan Teen Art Museum, housed in a beautiful Art Deco building from 1933. It was a former royal residence inspired by French Art Deco. Now it holds modern art exhibitions.
Art Deco in Tokyo. Interesting.
And for the truly adventurous, superhero go-karting.
You're kidding. Go-karting in the streets.
Apparently so. You dress up as Mario, Marvel characters, whatever, and drive go-karts through the actual streets on tours.
That sounds insane and probably needs planning.
Definitely. You need an international driving permit, and it books up far in advance. Tours are 1-2 hours, costing maybe 10,000 to 18,000 yen per person.
Wow, okay. And those quirky cafes.
Oh yeah, Tokyo's famous for them. Monster cafes, vampire cafes, owl, cat, dog cafes. All sorts of themes. It's a fun way to experience the kawaii or cute side of Japanese pop culture. You find them all over.
That is an incredible range of experiences. It really highlights how much Tokyo has to offer beyond the, typical tourist trail.
For sure.
Now, let's talk about fueling all this exploration food. What are some of the absolute must-try culinary experiences in Tokyo?
Tokyo is, without a doubt, a food lover's paradise. Our sources really emphasize the incredible variety, the exceptionally high quality of ingredients, and the beautiful, almost artistic presentation that defines Japanese cuisine.
So what's top of the list? Sushi.
Sushi and sashimi are, of course, right up there.
Yeah.
With the incredibly fresh seafood sourced from places like the Toyosu market being a major draw,
Yeah.
you just can't beat that freshness.
And ramen.
Ramen, absolutely. In its many diverse regional styles, it's another essential Tokyo food experience. You get everything from rich, deep, flavorful pork broths, tonkatsu style, to lighter, more delicate shoyu or shio varieties. It's a whole world in itself.
Definitely need to try different kinds. What else?
Tempura, that wonderfully light and crispy battered and deep-fried seafood and vegetables, is also highly recommended.
Love good tempura.
And yakitori, those incredibly flavorful grilled chicken skewers, cooked over charcoal, different parts of the chicken. So good.
And it's not just about sitting down in formal restaurants, is it? The sources mention street food.
Oh yeah, street food is a really integral part of the Tokyo food scene. Things like takoyaki, those savory octopus balls, piping hot,
The hakayaki, right?
and those colorful Japanese crepes, both sweet and savory sometimes. Perfect on-the-go treats while you're exploring.
Sounds delicious. And for a splurge.
For anyone looking for a truly special and indulgent experience, Wagyu beef is naturally a highlight. That marbling, the tenderness, it's something else.
Melts in your mouth, they say.
Pretty much. And let's not forget the drinks either sake, with its huge range of different varieties from dry to sweet.
Need a guide for sake?
Probably. Local craft beers are also getting popular. And of course, the ever-present and incredibly diverse world of green tea and matcha. They all play a significant role in the culinary landscape.
So many options.
Absolutely. And the entire dining experience in Tokyo is so varied. You've got bustling, informal izakayas, those Japanese-style pubs, perfect for a casual evening with small dishes and drinks.
Like Japanese tapas bars?
Kinda, yeah. Then you have tiny, specialized ramen shops where the focus is purely on creating the perfect bowl, all the way up to some of the world's most highly regarded Michelin-starred fine dining establishments.
So something for every budget and taste.
Whatever your budget and whatever your culinary preferences, Tokyo truly has something extraordinary to offer. It's really remarkable.
My stomach is rumbling just thinking about it. Okay, so we know what to do and what to eat, but where do you actually stay in a city as vast as Tokyo? What are the typical accommodation options, and what kind of price ranges should you expect?
Right, accommodation. Our sources provide a good overview, catering to a wide range of budgets. For travelers who are more budget conscious, hostels are a fantastic option.
Hostels are pretty good in Japan, generally.
Yeah, they're often described as comfortable, clean, and providing a good social atmosphere. Several specific hostels, like Hostel Bedgasm, Kei's House, and Unplanned Kagurazaka, are mentioned positively.
And prices for hostels.
You're looking at maybe 4,000 to 7,500 yen per night for a dorm bed. Private rooms in hostels would be more, maybe 10,500 to 17,500 yen.
Okay, what about budget hotels?
Budget hotels are another popular choice in a similar-ish price range, maybe 6,500 to 12,500 yen per night. They offer basic but often very clean and efficient rooms. Think business hotels sometimes.
And Airbnb.
Airbnb is also widely used. Private rooms might start around 7,500 yen a night, while entire apartments could be anywhere from 10,000 to 15,000 yen or more, depending on size and location, of course.
So from the more social hostel scene to the privacy of an Airbnb or a budget hotel, it sounds like there are definitely options for those trying to keep their spending in check.
For sure.
What about those looking for mid-range or more luxurious accommodations?
Well, specific mid-range hotels aren't detailed in this particular material, but the budget estimations suggest that comfortable and well-located business hotels would likely fall into this category. They're very common in Tokyo and usually offer good amenities.
Okay. And for more traditional experience?
For a more traditional and potentially luxurious experience, the sources mention ryokans. Those are the Japanese-style inns.
Tatami mats, futons.
Exactly. Tatami mat flooring, futon beds, and often they include elaborate multi-course meals, kaiseki dinners, and exceptional service. A real cultural immersion.
Sounds amazing, but probably pricier.
Generally, yes.
Right.
And of course, Tokyo also boasts a wide array of high-end international hotel chains, offering all the expected luxury amenities.
So top-end hotels are definitely there too.
Oh, yes. Prices for these more upscale options, ryokans, or luxury hotels, can start at a significantly higher point and vary greatly depending on the location, the specific place, and the level of service.
And different neighborhoods might specialize.
The sources briefly touch on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Suggesting that, for example, Shinjuku might have more high-rise hotels, while Asakusa might offer more traditional options like ryokans or smaller inns. But specific recommendations aren't in this set of info.
Right. That gives us a good sense of the sleeping arrangements and what to budget for. Now, Tokyo is enormous. How do you actually navigate this sprawling city?
Get around. Tokyo has one of the most comprehensive, efficient, and remarkably punctual public transportation systems in the world. It's truly impressive.
Trains and subways, mainly.
Yes, the interconnected network of subways and trains, including both the Tokyo Metro lines and the JR Japan rail lines, forms the backbone of the city's transport. They move millions of people every single day.
And they really run on time.
Our sources consistently emphasize their punctuality. It's really something to behold. While buses do exist, the subway and train systems generally provide more than adequate coverage for most visitors. You probably won't need the bus much.
It sounds incredibly well organized. Are there specific passes or travel cards that make getting around easier and maybe cheaper?
Yes, absolutely. The sources strongly recommend getting an IC card.
Like Suica or Pasmo.
Exactly. Suica or Pasmo are the main ones. These are prepaid, rechargeable cards that you can simply tap to pay for fares on virtually all subway, train, and even bus lines.
So no fiddling with cash for tickets each time.
Right. It eliminates the hassle of buying individual tickets for each journey. While they don't necessarily offer discounted fares on every ride, they significantly streamline the travel process. Just tap and go.
Very convenient. What about tourist passes?
Yes, for tourists, there are also 24, 48, and 72-hour travel passes available. These cover the Tokyo Metro and the Toei subway lines specifically.
So not the JR lines.
No, typically not the JR lines. These passes can be very cost-effective if you plan on doing a lot of sightseeing using those specific subway lines within a short time frame. The prices are around 800, 1,200, and 1,500 yen for adults, half for kids.
Okay, so you need to figure out which lines you'll use most. And the JR pass.
Right. If you have a Japan Rail Pass for traveling around the country, that would cover the 5 main metropolitan JR lines within Tokyo, like the Yamano Loop line. So that's another factor.
So a few different options to consider depending on your travel style and how much you anticipate moving around. What about other ways to get around? Taxis.
Taxis are readily available, but they're generally considered quite expensive compared to public transport.
Oh, expensive.
The starting fare is around 475 yen, and then it adds up quickly per kilometer, maybe 415 yen per kilometer. So the recommendation is usually to avoid them if possible, unless you're in a group or it's late at night.
What about Uber or apps like that?
Ride-sharing services do exist. Foodie, Japan Taxi, Uber, but they aren't necessarily a cheaper alternative to regular taxis in Tokyo. The pricing structure is often similar.
Okay. Bikes?
Bicycles are a relatively safe and pleasant way to get around some areas. There are many designated bike lanes, bike share systems, and rental shops are available.
How much to rent a bike?
Maybe 1,000 to 1,600 yen for a full day, or hourly around 200, 300 yen. Bike share systems might have 24-hour rates too. Just watch out for potential helmet fees or deposits.
And renting a car?
Generally not recommended for navigating within Tokyo itself. The public transport is just too good, and parking can be a nightmare and expensive. A small car rental might start around 7,200 yen per day, but you likely won't need it in the city.
That's good to know. Best to stick to the rails. Now let's talk about the financial realities. What kind of budget should someone anticipate for a trip to Tokyo?
Okay, budget. Our sources provide some helpful estimates based on different travel styles for a budget-conscious backpacker.
Hostels, cheap eats.
Exactly. You might be looking at spending around 16,000 Japanese yen per day. This would typically cover a bed in a hostel dorm, maybe using a rail pass for longer journeys, eating at inexpensive local places like ramen shops or donburi spots.
So beef bowls, yeah.
Right. Visiting a few free or low-cost attractions, perhaps some inexpensive day tours, and having limited expenses for things like alcohol.
Okay, 16,000 yen. What about mid-range?
A mid-range traveler could probably expect to spend closer to 29,500 yen per day.
So almost double.
Yeah. That allows for maybe a private room in an Airbnb or a budget hotel, dining at more varied, budget-friendly restaurants, enjoying a few drinks, participating in some paid activities like visiting one of those quirky cafes or doing the go-karting.
Maybe a taxi here and there.
Exactly. Occasionally using a bike rental or a short taxi ride. More flexibility.
And for a more upscale trip.
For a more upscale and luxurious experience, the daily budget could easily reach around 80,000 yen or even more.
Wow, big jump.
That would include stays in nice hotels or traditional ryokans, dining at nicer restaurants more often, enjoying drinks more frequently, taking private or more extensive guided tours, and relying more on taxis for transportation.
So a pretty wide range depending on how you like to travel. Are there any specific tips for saving money while you're in Tokyo? It sounds like it could get expensive.
It can, but absolutely, our sources offer several practical tips for keeping costs down.
Like what?
Well, a simple one. Bring a reusable water bottle. Avoid buying drinks constantly. Make the most of Tokyo's excellent public transport and try to avoid those pricey taxis.
Good start. Food savings.
Shop for snacks and even some pre-prepared meals at 100 yen stores. They have more than just trinkets.
Really? Okay.
Also eating at convenience stores like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Lawson. The food quality is surprisingly good and very affordable. Or check out the eateries often found inside or around train stations. Quick, cheap, and tasty.
The famous konbini food.
Exactly. Getting a transportation pass, like those 201-4 872-hour subway passes, or just using the Sukapasmo card consistently, is definitely recommended for ease and sometimes cost savings.
And museums.
If you're planning on visiting multiple museums, look into the Tokyo Museum Guro Pass. It costs about 2,500 yen and gives discounted or free entry to over 100 museums and attractions. Could be a great deal.
Nice tip. Any more unconventional savings?
For the very budget-minded, exploring options like staying with a local through couch surfing is mentioned, although our sources note that response rates in Japan can sometimes be lower. Maybe try finding expats.
Okay.
Some hostels offer work for accommodation opportunities. Or, as a very budget overnight option, consider sleeping in an internet or manga cafe. They often have private booths and overnight packages.
A manga cafe. Interesting.
Yeah. Also, buying groceries or prepared meals later in the evening at supermarkets can often yield discounts as they mark down fresh food. And considering capsule hotels for accommodation can also be a way to save money compared to regular hotels.
Some really helpful and practical advice there for keeping the travel budget in check. Now, when is the best time to actually plan a trip to Tokyo? Are there particular seasons that are more ideal than others?
Good question. Generally speaking, the most popular and often recommended times to visit Tokyo are during the spring and the fall seasons.
Cherry blossoms and autumn leaves,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Spring, particularly from late March to early April, is world famous for its breathtaking cherry blossoms, the sakura. It creates stunning pink landscapes throughout the city parks and streets.
But crowded.
However, yes, this is peak tourist season, so expect larger crowds everywhere and potentially higher prices for flights and accommodation.
Okay, what about fall?
Fall, roughly October to November, offers beautifully crisp and cooler temperatures and vibrant autumn foliage, the koyo. It's another very pleasant time to visit, generally considered less crowded than peak sakura season.
Sounds lovely. How's summer?
Summer, which runs from about June to August, is typically characterized by hot and very humid weather. Temperatures around 32 degrees C or 89 degrees Cap here, but the humidity makes it feel hotter.
So maybe not ideal for lots of walking.
It can make sightseeing less comfortable, yeah. So it's generally not considered the most ideal time to visit if you have a choice.
And winter?
Winter, from December to February, brings colder temperatures, maybe around 10 degrees C or 50 degrees Celsius during the day, dropping near freezing at night. But it tends to be dry and sunny with fewer tourists.
Bearable cold.
Yeah, usually not extreme, and snow in central Tokyo is relatively infrequent. It can be a quieter, clearer time to visit.
What about typhoons?
It's also worth keeping in mind that Japan's typhoon season generally runs from May through October, peaking in late summer, early fall. Japan has excellent infrastructure to handle them, but
Get travel insurance.
exactly, having good travel insurance is always a wise precaution, especially if you're traveling during those months, just in case of disruptions.
So it sounds like those shoulder seasons of late spring, maybe after the main sakura rush in May and early autumn, October, November, might offer a good balance of pleasant weather and potentially fewer overwhelming crowds.
That's often the sweet spot, yeah.
Now let's delve into what makes Tokyo tick beyond just the sights and logistics, the culture and the people. What are some of the unique cultural aspects that visitors should be aware of?
Okay, culture. Tokyo is this incredibly fascinating blend. You've got deeply rooted traditional customs sitting alongside cutting-edge fashion trends, a strong appreciation for Western music, and a distinctly avant-garde artistic sensibility. It's quite a mix. Our sources highlight how the Japanese often have a distinct separation between their work life, which can be very demanding, and their social life after hours. This contributes to the city's vibrant and energetic nightlife, where people really cut loose, as one source puts it.
Like those salaryman bars we mentioned.
Exactly. There's also a really deep-seated cultural emphasis on virtues like loyalty and devotion.
Hachiko again.
Beautifully illustrated by the enduring story of Hachiko, yes. Japanese cuisine itself is a profound reflection of their culture. That meticulous focus on high-quality, often seasonal ingredients, the almost artistic presentation.
Presentation is huge.
It really is. The pervasive kawaii, or cute, culture is very visible, too. In the themed cafes, character goods, fashion, it's everywhere.
You can't miss it.
Even something like the Sento, the traditional public bathhouse we talked about, reflects a certain openness and acceptance of communal experiences, despite the general reserve in other situations.
It sounds like there's a really strong emphasis on politeness and respect in everyday interactions.
Absolutely. Politeness and respect are fundamental pillars of Japanese culture. You see it everywhere.
How so?
It's expressed in numerous ways. From bowing as a greeting or thank you, to maintaining a quiet and considerate demeanor in public spaces like trains. People rarely talk loudly on their phones, for example.
Right, keep it down on the train.
And being very mindful of personal space, even in crowds. Punctuality is also highly valued in both social and professional settings. Arriving late is generally frowned upon.
Good to remember.
The remarkable cleanliness and orderliness of the city are also a direct reflection of these deeply ingrained cultural values. People take pride in keeping spaces tidy.
You don't see much litter.
Very little. And then there's the concept of omotenashi.
Omotenashi.
It's often translated as hospitality, but it goes beyond just good service. It encompasses a sense of selfless hospitality, anticipating a guest's needs before they even ask. It's a really subtle but powerful aspect of the culture that visitors often experience.
Wow, that sounds lovely. What about language?
It's also worth noting, as mentioned before, that while tourism is increasing rapidly, English fluency is still less widespread than in some other major international cities.
So don't expect everyone to speak English.
No. Staff in tourist areas and hotels often will, but general public, maybe less so. Having a reliable offline map or a translation app on your phone can be incredibly helpful for navigating menus, signs, or simple interactions.
Good practical tip. So a culture that really values harmony, respect, and this unique, often surprising juxtaposition of tradition and ultra-modernity.
That sums it up pretty well.
Finally, and of course, very importantly, let's talk about safety and security while in Tokyo.
Right, safety. This is a big plus for Tokyo. Japan, and Tokyo in particular, consistently ranks as one of the safest countries and major cities in the world.
Really low crime rates.
Our sources emphasize that there's a remarkably low incidence of street crime. The risk of robbery, scams targeting tourists, or being physically harmed is exceptionally low.
What about scams? Pickpockets.
Scams are reported as being almost non-existent. Pickpocketing can happen anywhere, but it's much less common than in many other large cities. You still need basic awareness, of course, but violent crime is extremely rare.
That's very reassuring for travelers.
Definitely. The main risks that travelers might encounter are more related to natural events, like earthquakes, as Japan is seismically active, and occasional typhoons.
So what should you do about that?
It's always a good idea to just be aware of emergency evacuation routes in your accommodation, maybe note the nearest exits. And having offline maps downloaded on your phone is useful if communication networks are disrupted.
Makes sense. Any other quirks?
It's also mentioned that building addresses in Tokyo aren't always sequential. Streets often aren't named, and buildings are numbered based on when they were built in a block, not necessarily in order down a street.
So getting lost is easy.
It can sometimes make navigation a little confusing, yeah, even for locals sometimes. Again, a good map app is your friend.
And for solo female travelers.
As we discussed earlier regarding language, English isn't universally spoken, but overall, Tokyo is generally considered a very safe environment, even for solo female travelers.
Standard precautions still apply, though.
Of course, as with any destination, standard common sense safety precautions should always be followed, like being aware of your surroundings, especially at night. Occasional reports mention some minor issues like overly personal questions or, very rarely, groping on extremely crowded subways.
Ah, the crowded trains.
Which is why those women-only cars exist on some train lines during peak rush hours, to provide an extra sense of security in those packed conditions.
Good to know they exist. Emergency numbers.
The main emergency telephone number in Japan for police is 110. There's also a non-emergency Japan helpline, 0570-0000911, mentioned for assistance in English.
Okay, 110 for emergencies.
Overall, the resounding message from the sources is that Tokyo is an exceptionally safe place to visit. but
Travel insurance.
always a good idea. Having comprehensive travel insurance to cover any unforeseen circumstances like illness, injury, theft, or cancellations is always a solid general recommendation, no matter how safe the destination.
Absolutely. That's incredibly reassuring to know about the safety aspect.
Yeah.
So as we bring our deep dive into Tokyo to a close, it's clear that this is a city of incredible contrast and multifaceted appeal.
Definitely stands out.
It beautifully and seamlessly blends ancient traditions with cutting-edge modernity, offering a truly diverse and captivating range of experiences for every kind of traveler. From iconic historical landmarks and unique cultural activities to an incredibly rich and varied culinary scene, a wide array of accommodation options to suit different budgets, an efficient and easy-to-navigate public transport system,
Which is key.
and distinct best times to visit, depending on your preferences, all set against a backdrop of fascinating cultural nuances and, as we just heard, a strong sense of safety and security.
Indeed. And reflecting on this remarkable blend of ancient heritage and hypermodern innovation, it really prompts the question for you, our listener.
Yeah.
What aspect of Tokyo's unique character do you find most compelling? Is it the deep respect for tradition, the relentless push towards the future, that balance between order and energy? And maybe, what does that say about the future of urban life in general, where tradition and progress are constantly interacting?
That's a great thought to leave people with. It's a city that definitely sparks so many thoughts and encourages a deeper exploration.
We truly hope this deep dive has provided you with a valuable framework for your own future discoveries of Tokyo.